Peeking through the blinds, I spot a white van coming to a stop right in front of my house. The door slams open, and a guy trudges through the deep snow to my letterbox, jamming some letters in. On his way back to the van, he shoots a glaring look right at me. Oddly, he quickly reverses his actions, as if pretending he didn't see me. I guess he's not in the mood for any interactions. After a few minutes of sitting in his van, the tires screech as he attempts to gain traction in the snowy mess. I throw on my jumper and shoes and head towards the letterbox to grab my mail. Snatching the envelopes, I dash back inside, escaping the biting cold. Throwing them on the kitchen table, I start opening them. Bill, Bill, Bill. Then, a surprise, a letter addressed to me. Opening it, I find only a blank A4 sheet. Perplexed, I pin it to the fridge for deeper analysis later. After dealing with the bills, it's time to get ready for the Valentine's Day dinner I booked for me and my girlfriend. The sun is setting as we drive home, leaving little light to see the roads. With a belated decision to turn on the headlights, we're momentarily blinded. As our eyes adjust, we spot a figure right in front of us. Traveling at 65 miles an hour in the snow, my old Toyota's braking distance isn't great. We're pushed forward by inertia, and thankfully, we come to a halt without skidding off the road or hurting ourselves. Attempts to restart the engine fail, and after a couple of tries, we decide I'll push while my girlfriend takes the wheel. Out of harm's way, I use my phone's flashlight to check under the hood. No luck with troubleshooting. I try calling my friend, a mechanic. Your call cannot be connected. Confused, I realize there's no signal. With my girlfriend, we decide to walk the 5 miles to a gas station. Cutting through woodland seems like a shortcut. The first stretch is gloomy, and we hear a strange noise, a deep-pitched wind whistling through the leaves. We brush it off as the wind, but the next stretches hold something more sinister. Back on the road, a black sports car zooms past us, narrowly missing us. Shaken, we continue. Suddenly, my girlfriend screams, pointing to a set of red eyes about 20 yards away. We run, and the creature follows. The sound of its footsteps suggests more than 2 feet. Glancing back, we make it to the road, and the creature vanishes. Skipping several stretches of woodland, we finally reach the gas station. The cashier, with a thick accent, calls a taxi for us. Arriving home, I examine the mysterious A4 paper under a black light. It reveals the message, "Happy Valentine's Day," from Ashley. That creeps me out, considering Ashley passed away a few years ago. How did I receive this letter?
Christmas Eve, the fire pit roaring in the backyard, a tradition I'd always cherished with my family. Booze for the grown-ups, s'mores for the kids, and for some strange reason, ghost stories. It might not be the most festive choice, but there's something about a crackling fire that invites the eerie tales to surface. Last year, everything was going great until my cousin Ben decided to share a story. He's a science teacher at a local elementary school, and his narrative revolved around a colleague who died a few years back, known as Miss K. According to him, the kids believed Miss K's ghost was benevolently haunting the place, a whimsical myth created by innocent minds. Valentine's Day took an unsettling turn at Ben's school after Miss K's passing. During the post-party cleanup, the staff discovered an extra, unopened mailbox. Simple decorations adorned it, with only the word Jack scrawled across the front. Inside, it was filled to the brim with Valentines, sans candy, but overflowing with heartfelt messages. Most disturbing were the declarations like, "Miss K loves you forever." Despite efforts to dismiss it as kids adding drama to their stories, a new mailbox appeared every year since. This was my cousin's yarn, and as he finished, my little sister, deep in thought, asked for the teacher's real name. Ben's answer sent a shiver down my spine. Mia Karasievich, a former friend from my past. Mia, who had once left my heart in tatters, and who I hadn't spoken to since. I'd moved away and missed the news of her death, only to find out she became the supposed patron saint of first graders. My family, aware of Mia's history, buzzed with speculation, turning the night into a surreal mix of nostalgia and discomfort. I excused myself, headed inside, and sought solace on the front porch with my iPad, determined to unravel the mystery. Mia's obituary confirmed her passing, and her picture elicited a rush of memories. In her teaching outfit, she looked like Snow White, sweet smile and all. The irony struck me as I delved into my past, recalling her manipulative nature and the havoc she wreaked on my life. Later, Ben found me, suggesting we visit the school on Christmas evening. With a key in hand, he promised I could sift through the box of Valentines, a proposition I met with reluctance. In the dimly lit school, we navigated empty hallways, the place eerily quiet without the usual buzz of students. The classroom door creaked open, revealing the remnants of Mia's teaching haven. The box of Valentines awaited on a desk, and Ben left me alone, disappearing down the hall. As I delved into the pile, names like Elmo and Dora were dismissed to a not-worth-reading pile. The older kid Valentines held my attention, and as I perused the messages, a sense of dread set in. Among the declarations of affection, one stood out: "Merry Christmas, Miss K." I moved closer to the whiteboard, where the homework assignment had a curious addition. The second line, "See you next year," was underlined 3 times in a different color marker. An unsettling realization dawned on me. It hadn't been underlined before. Staring at the board, I was gripped by a mix of confusion and fear. The echoes of Mia's whispered name, the phantom caress, and the unexplained changes in the classroom left me rattled. Ben returned, explaining a possible electrical issue, but the shadows of the past lingered, making it a Christmas Eve I'd never forget.
In my early years, I was a staunch skeptic, firmly grounded in the realm of science. Ghosts, ghouls, and all things supernatural were nothing but dubious claims to me. I studied physics at Edinburgh University, holding a ruthless opposition to pseudoscience and superstition. Life was about to throw me an unexpected curveball. It was a chilly February morning, the week of Valentine's Day. I was going through a socially isolated phase, not an uncommon occurrence during the harsh Scottish winters. On that particular day, something drew me to the cobbled streets of Edinburgh, offering a solace only a long walk could provide. Edinburgh, an old city with remnants of its past, held a certain charm that often eluded long-time residents. As I meandered through the narrow lanes and empty pavements, my mind was oblivious to my surroundings. The city, known for its beauty, seemed relatively deserted that Sunday morning. Wandering aimlessly, I found myself standing at the gates of an old graveyard. Curiosity led me inside. The gates were oddly unlocked. The cemetery exuded isolation, the sound of gravel underfoot breaking the silence as I explored the paths lined with small white stones. The graveyard wasn't expansive, consisting of 2 plots. The older graves, weathered by time, bordered the fence, while newer ones adorned a nearby hill. One headstone caught my attention: Lisa Main. Memories flooded back. We attended the same school. She was vivacious, and I, a shy observer, admired her from afar during our teenage years. The epitaph on her headstone revealed she died at age 15 in 2015. Overwhelmed with grief and a sense of loss, I left the graveyard in haste. In the following days, memories of Lisa haunted me. Overworked and sleep-deprived, I couldn't shake the profound unease triggered by the outrageous coincidence of finding her grave. As a teenager, I had an intense infatuation with Lisa, though we barely interacted until a few weeks before her death. We shared walks home, forming a connection in those stolen moments. On the 13th of February, something changed. Lisa, usually full of life, became distant. A hug, a brief moment of connection, and she was gone. That night, I resolved to make a bold move. I'd buy my first Valentine's card. After carefully selecting a card and sacrificing my lunch money for a box of chocolates, I prepared a heartfelt message. The 14th of February arrived, but Lisa was absent. Concerned, I learned she was ill and could be off for weeks. Determined to check on her, I visited her house, knocked on the door, but received no response. Days passed with no signs of life. On the 5th day, anxiety gripping me, I went to her house again. The front door was slightly ajar. I entered, traversing the dark, deserted rooms, the house tainted with the smell of rotting food. The thudding noise from upstairs caught my attention. Climbing the stairs, I discovered Lisa's father's lifeless body behind a bedroom door. Shocked, I tried to escape, but something grabbed me. The face of Lisa's father, twisted in death, emerged from behind the door, unleashing a ghastly spectacle. Escaping the house, I ran home, bewildered and terrified. The truth emerged later. Lisa, tied up for days, had been strangled by her father. He, in despair, had hanged himself in her room. The vivid hallucination or ghostly encounter haunted me, but I rationalized it as a product of trauma. Life went on, but the guilt lingered. Lisa's grave, encountered years later, brought back the flood of emotions. On the 14th of February, armed with a card and chocolates, I revisited her resting place. Tears flowed as I expressed my remorse, grief, and love. Unexpectedly, a profound feeling of companionship washed over me. It wasn't religious, but a sense of acceptance and connection with Lisa. The skepticism that defined me crumbled, replaced by an understanding that the world held mysteries beyond scientific explanation. Walking through Edinburgh, I felt Lisa's presence, a silent companion in my solitary journey. The once adamant skeptic found solace, companionship, and a deeper appreciation for the enigmatic beauty of life. And that, my friend, is the story of how I transitioned from a science-minded skeptic to someone who found the inexplicable in the quiet corners of an old graveyard.
Ladies and gentlemen, brave souls and seekers of the supernatural, you've just embarked on a journey through the cryptic realms of fear with your host, Old Nicholas Black. For more enigmatic stories, subscribe to Black Scary Stories. Until next time, this is your host, Old Nicholas Black, bidding you farewell. Fear not the night, for within it lies the essence of haunting tales.